Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing today? I hope you're having a good day. Happy Wednesday. uh, sorry, had to situate myself. Make sure I look good. Okay, yeah. I'm looking in the mirror, make sure everything's all copacetic. All right. Happy Wednesday. I hope y'all been having a good day. Cheers. Water. That's all it is. Um, I had uploaded an episode, right? I apologize for I missed a week, so I just up a last. So I missed the week before, and I think that was the week after the hurricane hit, or the week of the well, because we had Hurricane Helene and then Milton. So Helene was what was it? It was a week. Then we skipped a week, and then it was Milton, and then skipped a week, or like there was nothing. So I didn't upload an episode the week after the hurricane. I think I uploaded an episode the week of the hurricane that same week, but the week after I didn't, and then I uploaded an episode this last week, and then now I'm back current again. So in a sense, so I apologize, y'all. Been busy in a sense, not too busy. Trying to find a job, and just bills, same old drama as before, but now we have the election coming up, so I'm going to be voting. I got my mail-in ballot a while ago. Let me grab it. Hold on. Let me grab this. So it's funny because a while ago, um, I remember when I did my first. I recorded myself filling out my first voter. I did my first election, which was the presidential election. I think at that time, because I had already turned 18, there was already the election coming up for local. But I wasn't. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't pay attention, do what I was supposed to do, and everything like that. So I missed out on that election. That election was for like governor and stuff like that. So I didn't vote. And then again, I missed again local voting again. I always somehow make it to the big election, but never the what is it? I guess it's supposed to be the primary election, but I never make the secondary, whichever one it is. But I did get my uh my election ballot and all that stuff like that. So I will fill that out, and I'm gonna go drop that off at the whatever place I need to drop it off at. And so I'm gonna do that. I did vote by mail last time. I'm doing it this time because I'm lazy. I don't want to go stand in line and vote. I'd rather you mail it to me. I fill it out and go drop the shit off at the place, and then y'all count the election, count my vote. Then, if I am, I know that I always say this in these last couple episodes. If I'm looking past you guys just to make sure the camera is still rolling, but I'm gonna consistently. I have my rag now because I noticed with the last episode I uploaded for last week, it my lips. I saw all that dry ass damn like from my Vaseline and stuff like that. I'm like, what the fuck, man? So I'm just gonna consistently be wipe because I'd rather you guys see me wipe my lips and apply some more uh, chapstick or whatever on than sit up here and have that. I hate that whiteness. I don't know why that is, but it's that white dryness. It's annoying as fuck, and I hate when I see that shit. And last time it was really showing. Usually I kind of see here sometimes you look close, but this one was like ringing across my lips. And I bet y'all when y'all watch the episode, y'all gonna be like, what the hell, man? Wipe your lips. But I don't have nothing here. I have the mirror behind the camera so I can make sure the camera's rolling, but I needed to get some side mirrors so I can be like, okay, make sure. But it's okay though. But we made it through the hurricanes. Luckily enough for Orlando, we didn't really get much of anything. We got, and the reason why I didn't talk about the hurricane too much in the last episode was because that was a pre-tape. These are pre-taped episodes. So literally all I do is I record them, sit in front of the camera, record, go in there, add the credits and everything I need to add in there, and then I'm done. I don't really try to cut anything within the episode itself because everything I say, I mean. And once you mean something, you say it. You ain't afraid of what you're saying because it's coming from a good place. Not malice intent, it's just honest, hardcore truth. That's all it is. And not my truth. Sometimes my truth, but sometimes it's just the truth. And that's literally what it is. We've gotten into this society where everything's about your truth and your truth. No. Sometimes it's just the truth. Let's get to the nitty gritty, okay? So, But anyways, the hurricane, we survived. The trajectory and the direction of the hurricane started to change even more as it came in land. And I think at one point it was supposed to be due on Monday, and then they got it pushed to Tuesday. And then they said it was going to come actually sometime like Wednesday and wee hours of the morning on Wednesday, but then it got shifted back to Tuesday night again. And then it finally hit Tuesday night, and it was a Category 3, but by the time it made it up to where Orlando was, it went down to a Category 1, thank God. But it was still a lot of high wind and stuff like that. I ended up falling asleep, I think maybe around midnight, and then woke back up at like 3 a.m. I went to go warm up some food because luckily enough, we didn't lose power or anything like that. So then, when I was in the kitchen, I said, "Oh, thank God the power didn't go out." So when I warmed up the food literally for like a minute, and then I took it out, and then I said, "Thank God the power didn't go out." And then guess what? The power went out, and I was like, "What the fuck, man?" And then it came back on. So like literally like 60 seconds, 30 to 60 seconds after that. And then it started flickering like I think 2-3 times. But other than that, didn't lose power. I did fill up my tub, but for some reason the tub sealant, the sealing that was seals the tub, I guess it was I don't know why, but I have to call the maintenance people out here to figure out why the tub drains when I filled it all the way up twice. So I said, fuck it. If it's gonna drain again after the second time, I'm not gonna waste water and fill it. So it did. So I just said, fuck it. I had pots and filled those up and whatnot. So that was good, but it was a waste for that too. But I ended up using that as sink water. So like I like hot water, but my sink is really big and I have a lot of dishes. So when I wash dishes, I just dumped the whole damn pot in there, both pots. So I didn't waste water and like that. So yeah, it worked out either way, I guess, in a sense. But I am praying for everybody that was affected through the hurricane down in Tampa area and Fort Myers, Sarasota, St. Petersburg. Still praying for Tallahassee. So guys, prayers up, and please make sure you guys are doing all that you can in helping out. What else? I got this week, or by the time this airs, I'll be saying this in a sense, but I'm submitting to a short film festival that would be, so the day that this is airing, which is Wednesday, last Friday, last Friday I will have had submitted to a competition for a short film festival for a script. I already did a feature film, but then there's another one in December that I want to submit 2 scripts for. Right now I'm writing my 3rd movie, and I have a lot of short film. I have a mini short series script. It's like a while ago I got inspired by this app. It was where they literally create a film, whether it's like a short film or whatever, by phone, and it's so it's not landscape view, it's this way. And it was like 10 minutes or less. And I remember the only reason why I found out about it was because Queen Latifah ended up starring in the show. I can't remember what the show was called or the app was called, but that's the inspiration behind it, in a sense, that it is about it's going to be 10 minutes short, either no more than 10 minutes, because usually a script that is 10 pages usually want each page to account for a minute of the script. So no more than 10 pages of a script for this short scripted series I have. So I'm gonna probably submit one of those or something like that. But right now I'm writing a really nice crime boss, mafia, gangster, cartel type of movie. So I'm excited. I'm really excited about this. My hands has been warming up. It's been about, I want to say about close to a month since I finished up my love story script, and then it's been months since my horror film script story that I did. So I have to go back and edit that horror script and get that in. I am so sorry, y'all. My nose is itching, and I don't want to dig in my nose on camera, but golly. It's not even inside my nose, it's like on the outside, like right there. Oh my God. Okay. Ooh. I think I saw me doing this, and I'm over here because it's itching. Golly. But anyways, that's what I got planned. But what we're going to talk about today is I've got to talk because I've started to notice this. I mean, I've noticed this for a while, but it's just been something that appreciate you. Follow, and I hope you find my content valuable. Sorry, somebody just sent me something. Are you also on a fitness journey? Okay, I have to reply back to that later on because I don't know who that is. I want to talk a little bit about, and I can't remember, and I guess I can go to my YouTube channel right now on my phone and look at this. My thing is this. I love white people. Okay, y'all. I don't want y'all to make it look. I don't want y'all to think that I'm consistently badgering white people, or I don't like them, or I hate them, or whatever. Because let me tell you this right now. It's not about really white or black. It really isn't. It's not about. It's more about right and wrong. You see what I'm saying? And and that my thing is this. I hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure. I don't want white people to think that I dislike y'all, or hate y'all, or that y'all are like the devil or something like that. I've said shit on this show that I truly mean, and I will mean to the day I die. And I'm not changing my opinion on it. But how y'all like to say that? Oh, I don't like. How can I be racist? When white people say, "Oh, how can I be racist? I got black friends." I said the same thing. How can I hate white people? Oh, my boo's white. I'm just joking. No, but seriously though, I don't hate white people. I just call out shit that I've seen that has happened for far too long, and if you want to call it woke, if you want to call it uh, what is it, radicalism, or whatever that word is that y'all like to use, or call me the left, or whatever you want to call me. It is what it is. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I don't identify with either one of them because y'all both are bad. Y'all both don't do shit for this country. Y'all both just waste taxpayer dollars. So I'm on the side of myself and Jesus the Christ and God. That's all it is. If you get my vote, you get my vote. If you don't, you don't. Sorry, my mom just messaged me too, but I'm not gonna play that right now. Love you, mommy, but I'm filming right now. But my thing is this: I just call out. I like to call out what I may dislike, or what I see that other people dislike, and understand their position, or why they dislike it, or why I disagree with what they're disliking, or just provide a general perspective, a panoramic perspective view, if you will, around what people dislike, what people don't like, what people like, what they don't like. Offer up my opinions and things like that. So that just, so I've seen this. I haven't seen Dangerous Minds, but I've seen The Blind Side. I've seen Freedom Riders. I've seen these movies where white savior complex is knee deep. There's also another TV show where, and I should have it up right now, white savior on Max. It's called The Savior Complex, and that's on HBO. And it's about this woman that goes over to these countries in Africa. I can't remember the specific country. I think it's maybe Uganda or something. And she specifically is going over there, and she's making matters worse rather than actually helping the people of Uganda get better through medicine, through whatever it is. And she claimed to be a doctor. She claimed to lied and did all this stuff, and people are dying, all this stuff like that, and she still hasn't been held accountable yet. And she lives here in the United States. The white savior complex is in effect. It is paramount. It is huge, where they use us for exploitation, where they claim we are marginalized, we are criminalized, we are sexualized, we are everything but human, and that they can save us from ourselves. And that's the problem that I have. African people don't need saving, white people. Black people don't need saving, white people. And the thing that I don't understand is that you do something to someone, then you see that it affects them in a negative way, and then you want to come in and save them. It's kind of like, what's a great analogy? You knowingly know you're driving drunk. You hit and kill somebody, or you hit somebody, and then want to turn around and perform surgery on them because now they're bleeding out internally. But how can you do that when you are the crux and the problem? And sometimes you, as white people, you create problems within yourself, in your own head, or create the problem for us, so then you can come in and reap. Oh, we're saving you. We're your Messiah. We're your Jesus Christ. No, 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 no. That's not how this works. That's not how this operates. You don't have the right, white people, to come in and invent. And let me be clear on this. I've always stood on that. I haven't said this verbatim. That white, I've never, like, yes, white people had a great deal. European people, the European descents, the European community has had a big hand, which means white people. They have had a big hand in in slavery. But it wasn't them that really started it. It was Spaniards. It was the Spanish people. Because I had to do research on it. And I had to look into it. Because when I was looking up Christopher Columbus, I was like, well, was he, because he wasn't white. He was from Spain or something like that. And then I started to really look. I had to say, well, who really started it? And then obviously, thank God for AI, because I didn't have to do much research. It was talking about how the Spaniards, which I think is the same for Spain or Spanish people, whoever that is, they were the ones that started to. They were the start of it. But white people took it and ran with it. And so I hate when I see white people trying to come in and be Captain Save-A-Ho. I'm going to say a couple of things to y'all, and don't get me wrong, because I love my white people, and I love the fact that a lot of them out there, they're doing good. But I don't like to see when a white man is married to a black woman. I don't like to see a white couple adopting a black or African child. Number 2. Number 3, I don't like to see when white people are helping black people in any aspect, whether that is food, medicine, the adoption, or So let me explain the reason why. And it's not that I like, oh, white people don't help black people. No. I'm saying I don't like to see, because I always wonder, are you really helping us out because you really mean it? Or are you doing it so that way you can gloat to your white friends about how you helped save the black boy? Kind of like The Blind Side, where we all thought that The Blind Side was really about this boy that didn't know how to read, write, math. They trained him to play football, but little did we know, he got good grades in school. He knew about football. You know Michael Orr from The Blind Side with Sandra Bullock in it and Kathy Bates? Remember that movie? And now he's going through this whole, they tricked him into a conservatorship. Somebody from the hood ain't gonna know what the fuck is a conservatorship. You know what I'm saying? So when you get that, when you see that type of shit happening, it's really like, so did you really help him, or did you just see him as a cash cow? I can't stand what I see on commercials. I haven't seen them in a long time, but because we all, streaming is taking a big thing now, but because I'm cheap and I don't want to, now I'm cheap, I have to be cheap, and I don't want to purchase the plans with no ads, because now streamings, they're evolving into this thing where they now have to have ads, which is fucking stupid. But anyways, I remember they used to always have that commercial talking about donate a penny a day goes a long way to help people in Africa that are hungry. Why are they always constantly showing people in Africa hungry? Like they white people, European, and I'm not just talking about white people, but people have adopted this white European mentality that Africa is impoverished, Africa is always at war, Africa is hungry, Africa is starving, Africa is animalistic and predatorial to human civilization, and they don't know how to read, write, do things. They make us all out to be sick. But that's everywhere in the world. Africa is rich. Africa has culture. Africa is loved. Africa is the motherland. Africa has beauty. Africa has nature. Africa has animals. Africa has freedom. Africa has war. Africa has poverty. Africa has riches and diamonds and pearls. Africa has everything that the rest of the world has. And I hate when they say consistently Africa as a whole. Like Africa is a continent. When we talk about America, we don't talk about North America, because North America is consistent of Canada and America. And at one point, I swore it was also Mexico, but then it became North America is Canada and America. Central America is Mexico, and then South America is South America. But you notice when we talk about other countries, we specifically talk about that country. We don't generalize it. So like when we talk about Europe, we don't say Europe. We don't say, when we're talking about London or Paris, we don't say Europe, because Europe it has Germany, it has London, it has France, the UK, so we got to talk, sorry, countries. Let me go back to countries, not capitals. So when we say Europe, when we talk about every other country, we specifically talk about that country. But with Africa, we generalize it to Africa itself. Like when we talk about London, we don't, or when we talk about the UK, we don't say Europe, because Europe has the UK in it. It has Spain. It has Germany. It has France. It has the Netherlands. It has all these countries that are a part of Europe. When we talk about China, we don't say Asia, because that is North and South Korea. That is I think it's Thailand as well. You've got Japan. You've got China. You've got all these countries that are Asian countries. But when we talk about Brazil, we don't say all of South America. No, we talk about the country itself specifically. But when it comes to Africa, when it comes to a country in Africa, it is generalized that all Africa is bad. All Africa is this. It is portrayed that all of Africa is taboo. We don't need to talk about them. We shouldn't talk about them. They're impoverished. They're war. That's no. Because that's where Christianity began. That's where from my understanding, Islamic and all three major religions kind of were founded in some form of aspect in Africa. As a whole, because I can't remember the specific countries, but I'm just saying Africa itself. And don't get me wrong, I am at fault too, because there are a lot of times when I generalize stuff about, I say Africa. I don't say specific country within Africa. But you want to know why? It's because America, and I would say a lot of the world too, does not educate themselves on Africa as a whole. What does it mean to be a Zimbabwean or Botswanan or South American or an Egyptian or this or that? And if we do talk about it, we westernizing it and colonialize it by them being white people. When the stories are told about Africa, it has to be whitened up. Or I've never turned on the TV and seen anything being good talked about with Africa. Any country in Africa to say it. It's always about who went over there, went abroad to help people that are hungry, or help people build this community back up, or this tribe back up, or this, that, and third. And that is great. But where is the good talk about? Where is the goodness that the Africa, the continent as a whole, brings? When people mention anything about America, they don't say North America. They say the United States. So why isn't it that when it comes to the countries in Africa, whether it's good or bad, we specifically talk about those countries or those cities where it is bad or impoverished? We got to do better. On my account too, because I do it too. When I talk about anything about Africa, I do a lot of times generalizing of stating facts or stating things instead of saying, you know what, this country within Africa that just so happens to be in Africa. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why but back to what I was saying was that I have a problem when I look like, I love the beauty of couples, no matter who it is, no matter what race, no matter what ethnicity, culture, whatever it is. Excuse me. But I always wonder, like, are you really with her as a black? Are you there's that hint that's in my mind that says, white man, are you with this black woman so you can whiten up the race? Because I read so many pictures, I read so many articles, I read all these history books, and I look back at how the black woman was over sexualized and talked about and all this stuff. I mean, they even have this black, I have to look up her name again, but there's this black woman in a museum because of her butt was so big. It's in a museum and it was studied and all this stuff like that. Like she was over sexualized, made fun, all this stuff like that. And it's like, why are you really with this black woman because you really love this black woman, this African woman, or are you just here because you really trying to whiten up the race or have an advantage of a black woman? You see what I'm saying? But then the weird, which is so weird for me, is that if I see a black man with a white woman, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care. You see what I'm saying? So I have some problems too that I need to work on. Because I do see mixed race couples where the man is white and the woman is black and they love each other. It's beautiful. But I also noticed when you guys are raising your kids, you don't celebrate the blackness in you. A lot of the times when the kids are growing up, they don't know their black side a lot. I've noticed that with people that are mixed cultured, especially with black people, is that that culture gets lost, or that celebration gets lost, or it gets whitened up, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that the kids are not black. I'm not saying the woman is now not black because she's with a white man. I'm just saying that I notice a lot of times, and it's not even just with white men. I'm just saying anywhere a black woman or man is not with another black man or woman, that the culture, it seems like it doesn't get as celebrated as much as it once was, or it starts to tangle off more. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. And then the child grows up and they're missing out on a whole part of their culture, the whole part of their background. You realize African culture and black culture are two separate things, because remember, when we were enslaved, we were brought over here beaten, raped, tortured, maimed, ridiculed, and stripped from our African culture and forced to adopt a European, Britain, UK culture. But that wasn't enough for us, and that wasn't going to never be good enough for us. So we had to start from scratch to create our own culture, which is now the black culture. And that's why in some forms there is a disconnect between our African brothers and sisters and our black brothers and sisters, because we're technically one and the same, but I was saying that I had said this the other day, and I said because I know that some people, like, they'd be like, well, there was this lady on the Steve Harvey show, and she was white, and she was asking, and I only say she's white because I just want to make this pertinent. She was asking, does she usually calls her friends black, but if she's speaking to someone she doesn't know that's black, that's not her friend, or not that she doesn't even know, she'll say African American. So I was saying that I had said this. Am I African American? Yes, because if I were to go through my ancestry and my heritage and culture, and it would go back. It would lead back to Africa. It does. But let's be real. I'm not really African, because that part of me was stripped away. So I don't get offended when somebody calls me African American. I consider if somebody was born in Africa, they came and applied for citizenship in America, and they got it, and then they're living here, and then they have kids, those would be African Americans because they're celebrating the culture. But our culture, for black people, I'm black. Technically, it would be like I'm Black American, because that African part was stripped away from us. Our tribes and cultures and everything like that, they just rounded us all up. Wherever they got us all from, could have been different tribes and religions and cultures and ways of living in the countries in Africa, wherever they stole people from, put them all on this boat, shipped them off to this unknown land, stripped away those thousands of cultures and languages and heritage and family and stuff like that and traditions, and say, you're going to now do this. But then we had to come up with a new form now, which would be the black culture, the black heritage, the black race. You see what I'm saying? So am I African American? Yes, but at the same time, I'm not really African, because that part of me was stripped away a long time ago. So that's why I always had these unctions of like, are you white people? Are you really here to help us? Or are you really just here so you can pat yourself on the back and say, hey, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's where my, you know, and and if you're doing it for the right reasons, and there are people out there that are, I appreciate you. A lot of us black people out there appreciate you, but I can't help but have that connotation every time like when I see Angelina Jolie and all of these other white people out here that are adopted baby, have black babies and stuff. I'm like, did they really do that for love of that child, or did they just do that because you know? Or is there some, or even if it's not necessarily that, it's just like I have a connotation where I'm like questioning it, and I shouldn't be questioning it because at the end of the day we're just humans. It shouldn't be about white versus black or you know this, that, and a third. But it is that's what it's come to. And a lot of white people say, why you always gotta throw race into it? Why you always gotta throw race into it? Because y'all threw race into it. Y'all made it to where white people are fucking up here and everybody else is supposed to be fucking down here, especially if you got melanin in your skin. You know? And I just find it so crazy that these films about the white savior complex is so accepted. So accepted. They do big numbers in the box office. They do big numbers on TV. It is love that a white person came in and saved the day. But do y'all ever talk about the goodness that goes on? Y'all only talk about the badness and y'all profit off of it. A lot of these crime shows and stuff are based, at least the reality ones like First 48, Crime 360, you know, stuff like that. They're all a lot of black and brown crimes and you profit off of it. Because I remember in 2020, at the height of everything, all of these shows started to get canceled, like Cops and First 48, Cold Case. All those crime shows were starting to get canceled because of the optics. They wanted to appear to be for black people and be for black people and by black people. But guess what? The First 48 didn't get canceled. And then, thankfully, because I love the First 48. But then they canceled Cops, but then brought it back. I just remember there was a lot of camaraderie around trying to support black people. You know, but then it would turned around, you know, for the moment. So that's why I always raise up my eyebrow anytime I see, and I hate that having that feeling. I hate having that feeling because I know then I look, because I've seen at the airport when I worked at TSA. I've seen that, and I'll be like, Javier, they're taking care of the child. You know what I'm saying? But it's that plant in my mind, like trying to wanting to protect that little black boy or that little black girl. Like, are you really here because you want? What's your true intentions for adopting this person or marrying this sister or this brother? What's the true intention? See what I'm saying? It's almost like the movie Get Out. See, those doubts, all that stuff seeps in my head. You know, and I'm only human, so I'm trying to get better at it. But you know, and then so let's see, yeah, it's almost like I said this in my notes because I had looked at this because I was talking about Hilary Swank and Freedom Riders. I was talking about Michelle Pfeiffer in Dangerous Minds. I was talking about Sandra Bullock in The Blind Side. And then I was saying white people adopting African and black babies. I said that. White people taking, quote unquote, taking our sisters. It's like you're trying to whiten up the race, dominate a black woman, talk about, and I was talking about the slave mentality, like massive mentality of the control over a black woman. That you have control over their bodies, their culture, their reproduction of continuing the black race on type of mentality. Like, no, I'm going to control it because, you know. And then I said versus, yeah, black men, yeah, and why I have a problem, yeah. My thing was, another thing that I guess grows into my mindset of why I have a problem with this is because it goes back to, I said, I don't have a problem with black men marrying white women, but I have a problem when a black man is married to a black woman and then he goes and cheats with a white woman. What the hell is that all about? Now, don't get me wrong. I've seen the videos, so I know white women, y'all good at sucking dick. I'm just gonna say that. I'm just gonna put it out there. White women just know the game, okay? Like Monique said. So if that's the reason black men okay, But that's that connotation of why you go from with a sister and you do wrong to this sister. It's almost like waiting to exhale. So remember when Angela Bassett's character said Bernadette, she said, what was she saying? So you tell me after fucking 11 years you gonna leave my ass for a white woman? And he said, then he turned around and said, would it be better if she was black? No, it'd be better if you were black. And I went, ooh, yeah, I see you right there. I see you, Bernadette. And I understood what she meant by that. Because a lot of these brothers out here, they would do black women so dirty, so wrong. You ain't there to help raise your kids. You cheating on her. You ain't being emotionally, physically, mentally, emotionally there for her or the kids. You're following your proclivities. You're doing just doing whatever you want to do, like you have no control over it. But then you leave her in the dust with the kids and then go marry a white woman and start a new family. You're all great and happy. And that does happen in instances. It's almost like Just Scott's song, How Would It Feel? How Would It Make You Feel? Where she was talking about, let me pull up the lyrics, because I want y'all to hear this. And this is the last thing I'm going to say on this. How It Make You Feel. It's off of her The Real Thing album, and she says this in her song. She says, say you tripping, say you pimping it, talk about how you the man, but what you are is something different, byproduct of when master ruled your life, spreading babies everywhere, couldn't think, couldn't care, but you can now. Brothers, you can care now. Back then you couldn't. And then I've seen on countless movies where they talk about taking our sisters. I know that Chris Tucker even said it one time. And in Money Talk, when Diane Carroll, we married that white man, he's like, taking all of our sisters. But black men, step up to the plate for your black sisters, your black women. Stand up to the plate. Be all that you can be, but at the same time, everybody loves who they love. And we have an opportunity to love who we love, no matter the race, ethnicity that they may be, the culture, background they come from, the traditions. So you have a problem with white men taking our sisters. But the question is, are we really treating our sisters with the respect, the care, and deserving that they should be given? Because not everybody's getting taken. But you can't take somebody that you've never had before. You see what I'm saying? You can't take nobody that can't be took. Okay? So think about that, black men. That's just something for y'all to think about. But let me say this, white people, white men. I have no issues with y'all. I love y'all. I'm just saying I understand that I can see where there's those things that seep into my mind, because it's that white savior complex that, oh, the world needs saving and white people can do it. We can cause the problems and we can be the solution. And white people, sometimes y'all like running on a problem. Y'all like having a problem so y'all can be the ones to fix the problem. So y'all, because no offense, white people don't have a culture. White people don't have a traditions. White people don't have anything about them. They're just white people. So, hey, why don't we create problems so we can be the one, or why don't we allow problems to fester so then we can be the ones, we have something about us. We can have a focal point about us to save the world. You see what I'm saying? I hope you understand listening to what I'm saying and not just taking my words at face value. Just listen to what I'm saying, because it's not coming from a place of hate. It's not coming from a place of anger. It's just I see where people have those problems in their minds of like, why are you here? Why are you helping us? What's your true intentions and motives for coming into our community, our black communities, our African communities? And why are you here? Are you here for yourself, or are you here for us? Are you here for optics, or are you here because you really this is a calling for you? Are you doing it because I'm just so happen to be another human being and it doesn't matter my skin color to you? What are your true intentions with our community? That's really what it comes down to. because I don't need you to be my savior. I got Allah, I got Jesus, I got God, whoever you believe in. If you don't believe in nothing else, I got that on my side. I got the universe on my side. I don't need you to come in and play Captain Save-A-Ho with my life. If you are here for the best and true intentions, cool. If not, kick rocks. And stop documenting everything. Stop profiting off of everything. And to all of my African and black people, the same way that it's so easy for them to go out there and help fix a problem, we need to be the ones out there going to Africa and helping these impoverished communities, helping to break that stereotype that all Africa is war, poverty, and crime. We need to uplift our African brothers and sisters. We need to go back to the motherland and give back to them and connect with our roots and show and publicize and film that, hey, all of Africa is good. This country, that country, every damn country in Africa is good. And break down these stereotypical, racist, generational perceptions that have been put on that continent. Because it's not a country, it's a continent. And all those countries in there are constantly talked down about like it's nothing. And it's so easy to put that continent down. But there's a reason why that continent sits in the center of the world. And that's the only continent that does. From top to bottom, the center of the world. There's a reason for that. We need to celebrate every culture, every tradition, every religion, every belief, every love, every unction, every feeling, every joy, every sadness, every poverty, every crime that goes on in Africa. Because the same thing that happens there in all of the countries in Africa, the same thing happens here in America, the same thing happens in all the Asian countries, the European countries, the Spanish countries, all of it. Everywhere is good, bad, ugly, great, holy, all that stuff. Every country, every city, every continent on the great face of this earth has that ability and has that in it. White people, if you are there for us to be there for us, cool. But if you have any ulterior motives or it's that you're doing it for that white savior complex, you need to stop, because that's a big no-no. You know, and it's true, because let me say it like this. So I'm gonna give you a little something. The white savior complex is the belief that white people are needed to save, help, and protect non-white people. It can be seen in a number of ways, including international development, film and television, teacher education, the workplace. Examples: international development, white people traveling to developing countries to save the local people. These volunteers may have good intentions, but they end up jeopardizing the progress of the country they're visiting by doing more harm than good, because they're then creating more of a problem, so then they have more of a need to want to solve that problem. There's a doctor. Oh fuck, I forgot what that terminology is called. But there's doctors out there where they create a problem within their patients. It's almost like Munchausen by proxy. So that way not doctors, but I know Munchausen by proxy is usually up their parent or custodial parent or somebody or guardian that creates a problem for their child, so then they can come and be the one to try to fix it, but they consistently keep them sick. It's kind of like that. Doctor that keeps patient sick. Okay, so it all falls under that umbrella of Munchausen by proxy. Okay, so even doctors can be that way. Okay, cool. Film and television for white savior complex. White characters are often depicted as the saviors of people of color. In those films that I just mentioned, with Hilary Swank from Freedom Writers, Michelle Pfeiffer from Dangerous Minds, Sandra Bullock from The Blind Side. Another example that they even gave was in the Avatar movie, Jake Sully, a white man, is the chosen savior of an indigenous race. it still happens to this day in our films where white people are considered the savior. Kind of like also, I would even say the Mummy. What the fuck is Tom Cruise or that other from the original Mummy with that white guy? What the hell is he doing as the savior of, you know? The same thing with Planet of the Apes. White savior complex. It is easy for white people to create stories and movies, scripts, documentaries, music about saving. Or think we don't need, we good. We good. We good. Promise you we good. But I thank you though. Teacher education. Teacher education programs can perpetuate the white savior complex by obscuring race, black culture, and white privilege. Constantly done all the time, especially in the public school system. I remember my administrator at my school. She told me, I won't give you out her name, but she had told me at the time when I was in school, back in 2016, 17, that those white teachers that came and said, oh, they need saving. They need help. They're not going to amount to nothing. They need, you know, and she had to look at them and get in their face. And this was a black woman. She got in their face and said, who the fuck do you think you're talking to? We don't need saving. We need you to come in here and teach and do your job. Not sit up here and belittle the same very students that you teach about how you can come in and be the savior for all of us. We here for education. We're not here for all that other stuff. You know? The workplace. White saviorism can be seen in ways that black women are treated in the workplace. That's true. The white savior complex is considered a modern day version of the poem The White Man's Burden by Rudyard Kipling. It has been described as a fundamental underpinning of the Western imperialism. Seriously, it's a real thing, y'all. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's a critical description of white people who is depicted as liberating, rescuing, or uplifting non-white people. It's the truth. It is the truth. And it goes so far into everything where America thinks that they can save the world. And now bump Africa. They think they can go in and America has their pinky toe in every damn country. But you notice that no countries have you notice that we have a naval base, we have a base, military base in every country pretty much, except for nobody has any here. Because America likes to be needed. America wants to be the captain, save a hoe. America wants to be the savior of all these countries and be nosy and in everybody else's business, except for deal with the problems we got right here. But sooner or later, that's going to turn around and bite us in the ass. Well, not me, because it ain't my problem. I don't have the bases there. But I'm just saying. So thank you, white people, for wanting to show up for us. But we're good. We're good. We're good. We don't need you to be our savior. We just want you to treat us like a human being, okay? Now, I'm going to move on to my fun fact for the day. We're going to talk about Mr. George Crumb, the inventor of the potato chip in 1853. Thank you to Mr. George Crumb for giving... So, let me pull this up. Okay, so his name was George Crumb, but he was born George Speck. He was born in 1824 and died in 1914, and was the world-renowned African-American chef who worked at Moon's Lake House in Saratoga Springs, New York during the mid-1800s. And I don't even need to read this to you to tell how the chip came about. So I just want to give y'all that. The chip came about was he worked as a chef at this restaurant, right? And so the guy that came in, and I'm assuming he's white. Just gonna put that out there. From the way I read it was that, and where I was studying who this guy was, he was white. But not that it matters, but I'm just saying. He came in and he wanted his potatoes to be sliced up. So he brought it out to the guy. Said, hey, this is not thin enough. He took it back, thinned them up even more, brought them back out. It was not thin enough. So he took the potatoes back, the potato slices back, and he sarcastically, really, he he sliced them up super thin again and brought them back out. So like he was frying them. But he brought them after he fried them the third time and brought them back out again. He said, "Is this thin enough for you?" Basically, and so then the guy was like, he obviously liked it, and thus you have the invention of the potato chip. So it's because somebody was complaining about how they were not happy with the food. So he went back several times, still wasn't quote unquote getting it right. So he said, "You know what? Fuck this. You want thin? Okay, motherfucker, I'm gonna give you thin." You know, black people ain't got the patience. So he fucking was like, here's your fucking thin. He sliced them things super effervescently thin, if that's the right word. I can use effervescent. But he sliced those motherfucking potato slices super thin, fried them bitches up, said, "Here, there you go." And thus he liked it, and thus you have the potato chip. So I want to thank that man. I'm sure assuming he's most likely white, because usually back then, even in New York time, it was a lot of people that but I will read. I'm gonna read it like this though. According to the story, a customer sent back his order of fried potatoes, saying they were too thick. Crumb cut the potatoes thinner, but the customer was still not satisfied. Crumb then cut the potatoes so thin that they couldn't even be eaten with a fork. Fried them until they were crispy. The customer was delighted, and other diners requested that dish, which became known as the Saratoga chips. However, some said that Crumb never took credit for the invention, and that his sister Kate Speck Wicks may have actually been the inventor. The potato chip was originally a gourmet delicacy served in fine restaurants and hotels. In the 1930s, Lay's and Fritos became national brands that mass-produced and distributed potato chips. So whether or not it was him or his sister Kate, because usually behind every great man there's a woman, but I know that's for relationships, but usually women don't get their credit no matter what. So thank you to the Speck family for creating potato chips. How about that? But just think about what I said, y'all. I love y'all. I thank y'all for watching this episode of the Analytical Eye Show. I'll see y'all next week. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Abria Vassal. And you can follow the show on Facebook and Instagram at The Analytical Eye Show, and on Twitter at iAnalytical. I will see y'all later on. See you next week for all new episode of the Analytical Eye Show. Make sure you take our time to talk about things that meet the eyes daily. How about that? Cheers so much. The Analytical Eye Show is presented by Analytical Eye Productions, a AAVR company.